Saturn's flange mode emulates tape flanging, duplicating the input signal to simulate the requisite second tape deck, then speeding it up and slowing it down to approach, then pass perfect alignment with deck 1 from either side, ahead or behind. The flanging can be applied either manually using the MIDI learnable slider or automatically over a period of time as defined by the other controls. To be clear, this isn't flanging of the kind you might be accustomed to from your LFO modulated flanger plugins such as Ubiq F, for example. Like the real thing, Saturn's tape flanging is intended for use as a one-shot spot effect at key points in a track, rather than a sound design tool per se. To illustrate the fundamentals, here's our drum track running through Saturn in flange mode. With the main slider in its leftmost position, deck 2 is running behind deck 1 at a distance set by the range knob, which we'll come back to, but with its volume level reduced to 0. Moving the slider to the right simultaneously fades the deck in and speeds it up, until at the centre position it's at full volume and perfectly aligned with deck 1, hence the doubling in volume level. Continuing the slider's movement to the right of centre speeds deck 2 up further, pushing it ahead of deck 1 while simultaneously fading it back down to 0 at the far end. Same thing happens when the slider is moved in the opposite direction, but with deck 2 being slowed down rather than sped up. That's manual flanging then, but Saturn takes the legwork out of the process with its rather brilliant automated sweeping system. Clicking the MIDI learnable trigger button or sending a MIDI note on message to the plugin initiates an automatic sweep, as visualized by the animated indicator in the slider track, which moves right to represent deck 2 speeding up and left to show it slowing down, just as it does when the slider is moved manually. Triggering it again, whether the previous flange has completed its full motion or not, immediately sends it back in the opposite direction. The fade in and out menus offer 3 absolute durations for the fade in and out times, 0.1, 1 and 10 seconds, as well as tempo sync durations from 1/64th note to 8 bars. The speed of the indicator movement reflects these timings, taking the fade in time to reach the centre of the slider track and the fade out time to move from the centre to its conclusion. On top of that, the multiply knobs shorten or lengthen each of the fade lengths by anywhere from 0.1 times to 2 times, up to a maximum of 20 seconds unsynced or 16 bars synced. Shape knobs adjust the fade curves from exponential, speeding up at one extreme, through linear, constant speed at the center position, to logarithmic, slowing down when turned fully clockwise. Being a plugin rather than an actual pair of tape decks, Saturn has to emulate deck 2 by reading and duplicating the signal from deck 1, the input signal from the host DAW. Therefore, to be able to run deck 2 ahead of alignment with deck 1 as part of the flanging effect, the plugin literally bends the laws of physics and grabs deck 1's signal from the future. No, of course it doesn't. One day maybe, but for now, Saturn simply applies a delay to deck 1, introducing latency which is compensated for by the host on playback, in order to make this magical thing happen. We With Deck 1's output rendered before the host door actually plays it back, Deck 2 can reach ahead to the 0 delay point and buffer it as required. The range knob sets the maximum time offset between the two decks, with the delay time of Deck 1 being precisely half its value. With range ranging from 1 to 20 milliseconds, this means Deck 1 can be delayed by up to 10 milliseconds. As you can hear, lower range times are better for smoother, less overt flanging. As noted earlier, when the two decks are in alignment, the result is an expected doubling of volume level. This can be countered with the phase invert button, which flips the phase of one deck for a thinner sound as the two decks approach alignment, and absolute cancellation to silence when they reach it. Finally, as in studio mode, the speed IPS knob dials in the speed of the tape, from 1.87 to 30 inches per second, making the signal darker and grittier the slower it's set. The various service panel controls are also fully effective in flange mode, enabling customization of both virtual tapes and decks.